Hi, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Lindsay Ramondo. I'm the marketing manager here at Portable Technology Solutions, and we have an engaging and informative webinar lined up for you today, and we're super excited to get started. We have some expert panelists joining us. We have Joe Crable, our mobile solutions architect from TracerPlus, doing a demo of TracerPlus for us. We also have Charlie Carter of Zebra Technologies going through Zebra hardware integrations. And then we have Sarsha Sekar from 42Gears reviewing their SureMDM solution. Before we get into it, I'm going to pass the baton to Brad Horn, Portable Technology Solutions CEO and co-founder, for a quick intro and a little bit of house cleaning before we get started. So Brad, take it away.
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Exciting webinar planned. Really excited myself to see what 42Gears is up to and Zebra's up to. But I figured to start off just with a little overview for those that don't know too much about PTS. Some house cleaning for those that do know PTS, and then I'm going to flip it over to Charlie, our resident Zebra tech guru. Anyway, for those that don't know us, PTS was founded around 25 years ago and founded on the premise of making data collection easy for everybody. You don't have to be a programmer to use our software, and we primarily focused on mobile data collection in the beginning, and that's our TracerPlus product, still available today. Started out in the Palm OS and has migrated over the last 25 years to now we run on Android and iOS, primarily for barcode and RFID data collection, but we do image capture, GPS capture, pretty much anything you could think of from the field that's needed in a database. We can capture that really efficiently with our tools. And again, free to try from our websites. We also have a product called Clearstream RFID, released around 12 years ago, really early in the RFID world. And it's an edge solution. You could think of it as passive data collection. No UI involved. It sits there and listens for assets, people, inventory moving by, and gives you that data of it was seen. And that then can be shared with databases. And it's moved and progressed. It now takes fixed barcode data, BLE data, HF, LF data. Really powerful solution. We can talk a little bit about some features we have coming out that we're excited about. Another product that we've been doing a lot over the last 5 years is our PTS Cloud, which is a dynamic cloud we build for our customers and will eventually be buildable by our customers to handle this verbose data that we're collecting on the barcode and RFID scanners and then get it into another system. Sometimes it's not even being put in another system, it might be exported, but it's giving someone a real log of everything that took place with their assets, inventory, you name it. If it can have a barcode, RFID tag on it, BLE tag, we can get all that data in our cloud and then get it to another system. Slide, Joe. So what's new, what we've been doing? Over the last year, we've released a couple products. These are OEM products, as we call them. They're built on our TracerPlus platform. The first one is GS1 Verify. It's a GS1 RFID tag verification system for mobile scanners, built for retail suppliers, those that are selling product into retail. They have to now hit a GS1 standard, and it validates that those tags are printed correctly. A big savings for customers, been really successful. It was asked that we develop it by our resellers, and they've been doing a great job getting out there. Kind of with that in mind, hitting these niches, we've released something called Count Quick. There's a ton of big systems and small systems for inventory and asset tracking, but not all of them have a robust way to do an inventory audit, and it may not match how you're doing it. So that's where Count Quick fits in. It's a inventory audit tool, really powerful. It supports barcode now, but will eventually support RFID. And it's meant to fill the void where, maybe it's an Intuit, or maybe it's a Peachtree, or maybe it's just some retail system. It doesn't have that audit tool that's really powerful built in. It may not work with Zebra. It may just be a wedge scanner. Count Quick works with Zebra mobile scanners and can really streamline that inventory process. We've been busy as always. We're always developing our software. TracerPlus 10.7 will be out in July with our philosophy is being hardware agnostic as we possibly can, even though Zebra's are obviously our biggest partner. We're releasing other compatibility to 3 more manufacturers in 10.7 coming out shortly. tail end of the year, these are the big releases, and these are three of the biggest releases we've had in a long time. First is the PTS Portal 2.0. Those that use our SaaS model probably are a little frustrated right now that, TracerPlus is, managing those users is one portal. Clearstream managing those users is in another portal, and if you have an OEM product, it's in another portal. Especially our resellers who have multiple users, they jump in between portals. We're putting all those together in one portal, making it easier than ever to manage your PTS deployments, and giving you a lot of visibility over the next few years of what your users are actually doing on the application level with TracerPlus and Clearstream. The next one is our RIA feature that we're building into the PTS cloud. Those that know about us know we have a Connect tool. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth, but still really powerful. Allows you to take TracerPlus data and get it into a pre-existing system. We're moving it to a dynamic API that makes it really easy for someone with our cloud or a mobile application on TracerPlus to get it into a pre-existing system via what we call the dynamic RIA API. And we'll see a lot of releases of that over the next few years, but the first major one is scheduled for the tail end of this year. And then finally, we have our RTLS for Clearstream. Again, our goal is to make things simple for folks, for non-programmers, and if anyone has dabbled with RTLS, they've seen that it's a pricey route to follow, and maybe sometimes really long time to get it in place. And we're taking a different path. We're making it so anyone can upload their, it could be a sketch of their shop floor in a small factory, or it could be multiple factories that are 300,000, 500,000 square feet each. We're going to allow you to upload those drawings and then do a virtual environment, place your RFID equipment, your barcode equipment, your people, you name it. You'll be able to map those things and see them in real time with the RIA, and then get that data, with RTLS, and get it into another system. Finally, October 29th, we don't have the date on here. If we do, it's really small, but we're going to do an event at the TWA Hotel that's right in JFK Airport, across from the JetBlue terminal. So if you're out of town, really easy for you to get to it. You just fly into JetBlue, walk across the hallway, and you're at the hotel. And we're going to have a whole day event where we're bringing in our end users, our resellers, our manufacturing partners, and really trying to get everybody in the room to share and talk about what they're doing with TracerPlus and Clearstream, but also with their deployments in data collection and what's successful and what's not. And we have a really exciting schedule planned for that, and we're hoping to get everybody that wants to join to come in and see what's new. We're going to have our manufacturers, obviously Zebra's one of the major sponsors, showing what they have new, so they'll have an opportunity to see what's around the bend with them. But you'll also see a demo of our RIA and our RTLS system. That being said, just to kind of set the stage, PTS's DNA, we think about all day long of how to make our data collection applications better, how to build in features, how to make it more streamlined so someone doesn't have to click as many buttons to collect the data they need, and then how to get it into another system. And that's kind of our mindset. We're not always thinking about how someone's actually going to get the application on the handheld, even though we do think about it. We're probably not as good as that as others are, who do that all day long. And that's where the MDM fits in. If you see boxes of devices showing up in your office for upgrades, firmware upgrades, you name it, you have security questions and you don't know, if everybody's on the same release, that's where these MDMs fit in. And PTS is very, very cautious about who we say is good at anything. We've been a partner with Zebra for over 20 years, originally Symbol, and they are best in class when it comes to hardware. So they make our life easy. We don't really hear, obviously they have their problems, but it's not an ongoing problem. They fix their problems quickly, and that makes it easy for a software company. The same thing goes with, over the last 10 years, getting these applications updated in the field. You want an MDM solution that works, it's tried and true. And from our angle, it's really selfish of us maybe, but we're going to talk about those folks that make our job easier, and 42Gears does. So anyway, I think Charlie's going to echo what I'm saying. I'm going to flip it over to Charlie now from Zebra. He's going to show you the latest and greatest tools they have, and then mix in a little bit of how they use 42Gears. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brad, and looking forward to that TWA event. That looks great. So a little bit about Zebra, if you don't already know us. So Zebra, we're an American company. We're headquartered in Lincolnshire, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago area. We have 9,000 employees roughly in 55 countries. So we do have a global presence. Annual revenue for 2023 was 4.58 billion. That should give you a sense of scale of the company. We are a Fortune 1000 company. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. And you know, together with our partners like PTS, 42Gears, you know, our whole mission is to give businesses, our customers, a performance edge. And how do we do that? You know, with the hardware, as Brad mentioned. We are the enterprise leader in mobile computing, barcode scanning, specialty printing. So specialty printing being RFID, barcode printing. And then we have a line of fixed mobile RFID readers, which I'll talk about. And I just mentioned the RFID printing. One of the other pieces that we have as well is workforce management software that's primarily used in banking and retail. And then a really robust indoor location service business. So what we do, you know, from a Zebra standpoint is, you know, working with our partners, we're really just connecting the dots. So we're intelligently connecting your data, your assets, your people, and then we're giving that information to our customers so they can make intelligent, mission-critical business decisions. And that's our focus. And where we do that, you know, industry-wise, we're in a broad base of industries. If you look at the list there, we're in retail, all the big box stores, the big e-commerce companies, manufacturing, both, you know, light industrial, heavy industrial, transportation, logistics. There's probably not a package that crosses the United States that doesn't have some Zebra touch point to it. Healthcare. We also have a strong practice in healthcare. Our mobile computers are used, our printers, wristband printers. So if you unfortunately have to go to a hospital, you're going to encounter a Zebra product. Public sector. So if you look at the first responders, police, fire, safety, they're generally all using Zebra technology products in the field. Hospitality. If you think of the hotels, quick serve restaurants, again, using Zebra products back there. Banking, again, that's primarily our workforce management software, but banking's another growing vertical for us as well. A little bit of a fun fact about Zebra, you know, not a lot of people know. We are the official on-field player tracking provider to the NFL, so we're very proud of that. They utilize our locationing technology as the underlying technology to generate next-gen stats. So every football that's used in the NFL and in practices has a Zebra location tag in it, as well as every shoulder pad has 2 tags in it to detect the location and rotation. And then every stadium and every practice facility also has Zebra receivers ringed around the facility, and that allows us to capture the XYZ coordinates, feed that up. It goes actually to AWS, and you know, you'll see AWS mentioned on the broadcast, and that data gets fed back to the television partners for the next-gen stats you see on TV, and also to the team so they can actually get factual information about the performance of their players, especially during practices. I think in the past there was always a little bit of a subjective look at, you know, what's really going on with various players. Have they lost a step? Did they have a tough practice? Now there's actual concrete factual data to know how these guys are performing on the practice field. So that's a little fun fact about Zebra. Now I wanted, Joe, if you could hit the next slide there. TracerPlus runs great on just about everything Zebra has, and just about everything Zebra has is manageable by 42Gears. So what I want to do though is focus down on some of the best products that we have to work in that scenario. So Joe, if you could hit the next slide, we'll talk about our TC line. So this is our Zebra Rugged Touch mobile computers. This is one of our more popular lines of products. You'll see we have 3 different tiers of product here. We got a TC20 series, TC50 series, and then the TC70 series. So just to give you a little nomenclature on the numbering, the TC22 is a Wi-Fi only device. TC27, the higher number, is a Wi-Fi and cellular, and that carries through for the TC53 family. 53's Wi-Fi, 58 is cellular as well, and 73, 78, and so forth. So TC22 and 27, great platform to run TracerPlus on. And I should mention, all these products have They're all 6-inch displays. They all have the latest Qualcomm processors on them, and they all have barcode scanners integrated into them, so they work great with TracerPlus. TC20 series is your base model. High level of performance, does everything you need to run the product. You move up to the TC50 series, you're getting an increase in processor performance. You're also getting a more rugged device, so it's going to have a little higher durability rating from a drop spec perspective and intrusion protection. So that's dust, rain, water protection. And then when you move up to the 70 series, that's the highest level of performance we have. So that's the most rugged, durable product in the industry in this form factor. High level of drop spec, high level tumble spec, high level intrusion protection, and an increase in processor speed and a broader set of accessories. Now, the key thing about all these products, you'll see the common attribute list on the right. So they're all Android Enterprise recommended. What that means is Google sets forth a standard of parameters that have to be met for the device to be deemed Android Enterprise recommended and appropriate for an enterprise deployment. All the Zebra products I'm showing today far exceed that. Zebra Mobility DNA. So these are all Mobility DNA enabled. So this is our suite of tools and utilities that come baked into the product that allow you to securely deploy, secure, manage, and optimize these products. OEM config, that is the software that exposes the configuration and security parameters that are beyond the Android build. So our OEM config is broader than anybody else's in the industry. And the great thing about this is that that is what 42Gears can utilize to fully tailor and secure these devices. As I mentioned, they all have integrated barcode scanners, and now we have long-range capability up to 40 feet in any of these models shown here. Support for Android 16, defined life cycle, so we can go up to 10 years of life cycle with the TC70 series, and then the Lifeguard OTA. So we have a Lifeguard OTA solution for deploying Android updates and security patches. 42Gears has completely embraced that methodology, and they can deliver in a very tailored fashion OS updates and security patches. I'm sure they'll talk about that in their section here. Another thing, seeing a big proliferation in RFID. These are all RFID upgradable VR slides, and I'll talk about that in a future slide here. Joe, if you could hit the next one, please. Okay, so now I just want to talk a little bit about different form factors. So these are rugged mobile computers. These are MC product line. These are traditionally used in warehouse distribution centers where that pistol grip handle is very convenient for scanning above your head or scanning down below. It's well proven in a warehouse distribution center. So you actually have a physical keyboard, which is very convenient when you have gloved hands. Now, if you develop a TracerPlus application on this and you need to use primarily numeric, we have different keyboards. So you can get a primarily focused numeric keyboard. If you develop something with function keys, we have function key keyboards, and if traditional alphanumeric keyboard is available as well. So again, with this family, same thing. It's Android Enterprise recommended. It's got all those mobility DNA tools baked in. The OEM config has that broad set of configuration tools that can be managed by 42Gears. The integrated barcode scanning, so you can get that data right into your TracerPlus application. The OS support up to 16, defined lifecycle. All of our rugged MC mobile computers go up to 10 years of life cycle. The OTA we talked about, multiple keypads we talked about. Now with this platform or device, you also have additional scanning options. So we have new scanners that can actually read barcodes up to 105 feet away. So most people aren't reading 105 feet away, but if you have a high bay warehouse and you need to read the upper rack location labels, confidently these things are going to perform without any issue. With the MC3300, we also offer a brick format. So if you think about the MC3300 there, that's going to be same unit without the pistol grip handle. That's convenient sometimes for people who want to holster the device or put it in the back pocket. And again, I'm going to talk about this a little later, the RFID option for the MC3300. So we do have an integrated RFID offering for that as well. One last thing on the MC9400, there's a 9450. That is a cellularly enabled version of the MC9400. So we can support both private and public cellular connections on that. So if you think about areas where there might not be access to Wi-Fi connections, this gives you that ability to go in areas where there is no Wi-Fi connection, but with this traditionally rugged keyboard-based form factor. Joe, go ahead to the next one, please. All right, so the tablet line, we have two series of tablets. We have our ET40, 45, and again, 40 Wi-Fi, 45 is cellular. That's available in an 8 and 10-inch line. It's a great platform to run TracerPlus on, and again, fully manageable by 42Gears. ET60, that brings us up to the ultra rugged tablet category. That's available in a 10-inch model. And again, these are all Android Enterprise recommended DNA, mobility DNA, OEM config, integrated data capture, which you don't see a lot of times in tablet platforms. They're available. They'll be supporting up to Android 16 Plus. For our tablet family, we define a life cycle up to 8 years. And of course, the LifeGuard over-the-air support for the patch delivery by 42Gears. And another interesting thing with the tablet family, the cellular versions, the 45, 65, again, they can support both public and private 5G. 40 and 45 is available for with an 8-inch tablet for the customers who want a smaller platform. And then the accessory base, especially with the ET60 family, we have a really broad set of accessories for that. So we have accessories to put that and securely mount it on a forklift. We can turn it into a 2-in-1 tablet replacement. We can turn that into a point of sale terminal. You can make that a complete workstation with a workstation dock by adding a keyboard and mouse to it. So a very robust family of tablets. Joe, you can hit the next one, please. Okay. RFID, so we have a solution to enable, I mentioned the TC family with RFID. If you look on the left-hand side, we have the RFID 90 and the RFID 40. So the RFID 40 platform, that will allow you to take any of the TC devices shown on that first screen, snap it in there, and you can instantly RFID enable your TC mobile computer. So now you not only have barcode input into TracerPlus, now you have RFID input into TracerPlus. The RFID 90, same concept, only it's a little bit more rugged device. That's the ultra rugged platform for our heavy manufacturing clients. And the same concept, you'd be able to snap any of the TC Zebra devices into that, and now you've got RFID enabled as well as the barcode enabled. And the nice thing is you can instantly snap it back out if you don't need the RFID use and you want a smaller form factor. Now, if we look in the middle, we have a brand new offering here, the TC53E. That is an RFID-enabled TC device. The difference on this is we've embedded a RFID module in the existing case of that. So there's no large antenna, there's no pistol grip. It's just straight up same size platform, but with an RFID reader. Now, you're not going to read the long distances, 20 to 70 feet, like you could with the RFD series, but it gives you that capability to do a lot of the workflows where you're doing maybe piece pick, verifying devices, verifying shipments inbound to outbound. On the right-hand side, you'll see our MC3300 XR RFID reader. So in that prior slide, we had our MC3300 family. So this is the fully integrated long-range RFID capable version of the MC3300. So you still have the barcode scanning, and then you got RFID reading as well. And again, when you look at the attributes of these, same thing, Android Enterprise recommended, mobility DNA, that OEM config, the LifeGuard OTA capability to allow 42Gears to patch these devices, and bear with me a moment here. The RFID is EPC UHF Gen 2, which is a mouthful, but that's basically a standard set forth by the GS1 organization. Some people call that RAIN RFID. It's a standard that's utilized extensively in business and retail. So all of our products adhere to that standard. And then we do have long range options. I mentioned 70 feet. So there's two different versions of RFID antennas. One reads about 25 feet and one will read about 70 feet. So we offer both options in the MC3300XR and the RFD90. So that gives you a nice solution to RFID enable your TracerPlus application and manage it through 42 Gears. Joe, I think that's my last slide there.
Yep, that is it.
Thank
you
you
very much, Charlie. That was very informative. It's good to see what's going on with Zebra. So welcome everyone. So I'm going to try to be short and sweet with this and talk about app deployment with TracerPlus currently and how it can be improved with the 42Gears SureMDM solution. So first we'll talk about how you currently have to deploy projects and even install the TracerPlus application. So if you have a device, you either need to get the TracerPlus application through the Google Play Store, or you can manually copy it to the device by downloading it, connecting it, and copying it over. That can propose some challenges for sites that have restrictions on what devices can access. You know, they may not be able to access the Play Store. We've even seen sites have issues accessing the device via USB, where they actually lock down the USB connectivity on their PC, so that kind of makes it difficult to get TracerPlus installed to a device. So we'll kind of talk to how that can be bypassed using the SureMDM solution. Also deploying projects. So we do offer a nice intuitive way for you to deploy your projects remotely by deploying your project, scanning a QR code, and then on the device you can click a download button or scan the QR code to actually get that project. So that works well for most folks, but you can run into issues where you have different remote sites. It also requires that your device be connected to the same network as the desktop software. The desktop software has to be open for the deploy server to work. And then also it requires user intervention to actually go on that device, go to the menu, click the download project, and then actually scan that QR code. So that's kind of some challenges for some remote workers getting that latest project to the device, requiring that user intervention. So that's where 42Gears came into play. So we discovered them a couple years ago, and we use them exclusively with a big customer of ours to manage their devices, and it's worked out very well for us and them. So the benefit of SureMDM with TracerPlus is the ability to actually install TracerPlus to a device and even deploy a package to the actual device that would include the TracerPlus install, specific device settings, the actual project you want to push to the device, all packaged in what we call a composite deployment. And that can be done when you enroll the actual device in the MDM. Essentially, you scan a QR code on the device, it reaches out to the SureMDM server, deploys all the packages, and then the user has a fully working device with a project deployed without having to really intervene themselves to get anything working. So like I said, some of the advantages of that, you have a nice centralized management portal to view all of your devices, as well as apply any type of updates. It streamlines the process of installing new versions or updated projects, as you'll see in my demo. It's easy to scale, and it offers some enhanced security, by reducing the risks of tampered QR codes and tampering with any type of file system. So like I mentioned in the previous slide, this does address the QR code deployment limitations. Some folks have security concerns with that. We do rely on the end user to actually download that project. As far as connectivity, you do have to be on the same network as the desktop software. And it's pretty much compatible with most, if not all, devices from Android, iOS, Windows. All right, so I'm going to actually move on to the demonstration portion. All right, so what you see, test console we set up with SureMDM. So you'll see here on the left-hand side, we have a main home folder. Then we have a PTS demo folder that I use for our demo devices. And then I also have another folder here for support. So you'll see that you can actually group devices into different folders, and you can actually apply different enrollments and jobs to each of those folders so that it only affects the devices within those folders. So one of the great features of SureMDM is the ability to remote control a device. So this is very useful for supporting remote users. They run into a problem, you want to see what's happening. You can actually select a device, click remote, and then you'll see you'll be able to connect remotely to this device and actually control it. So I have two devices here that I'm connected to. That's both devices in this particular view here. So if we look at the device, I have already did a QR code enrollment on these devices, and it set up the devices as you see here. It actually even locks it down with something that's called SureLock Kiosk. So that's kind of a lockdown screen where you can prevent the user from accessing anything other than what you give them access to. So in this case, I have the Files app, the TracerPlus app, and Wi-Fi settings. So if we open that TracerPlus application, I'm opening this for the first time, so I can just log in. So I'm doing all this remotely. Oh, would help if I actually entered the correct password. So you'll see this is our default sample application that comes with the actual app. I'm going to do the same for the other device here. And these are two different devices. One's a TC52, one's a TC73. So you'll see I'm running two different versions of Android here, but both deployed with that same enrollment. Okay, so we'll just log into that. And I keep missing that password on the first try. Okay, so once again, same sample project. If I go to help about, you'll see that I'm using our current release of 10.6. So I'm just going to back out to the home screen. Same thing here, we go to about, same version. So now let's say I wanted to deploy normally via desktop. So if I open the desktop software, let's say I go to our Count Quick project. Brad had mentioned our new Count Quick software, but I can show you if I just were to deploy this project. So if I were to deploy this normally, I would click Build Deploy. I'd click Deploy. That brings up our QR code. And then on the actual device, so I'll jump back over. I'll do this device here. If I go into TracerPlus, I go into the menu, download project, and then I can just scan that QR code. So I'm just going to jump back over to desktop, scan the QR code, quickly jump back over to the MDM. You'll see that the project was downloaded successfully. I now have this project on the device, but you'll see that I actually had to pick up the device. I had to go to this download project menu, and I had to physically scan that QR code. So let's say you wanted to push this same project out to remote devices or devices that are not with you, or you don't want the user to have to intervene to actually get this project. I can actually select a specific device. So I can select, let's say my TC52 here. I'll click the apply folder, or the button I should say. And then I can choose what job I want to actually apply to this device. So in this case, I created a job. It's called Deploy Count Quick Project. And I can click apply. And you'll see a job status here. Right now, yellow is pending, black means it's in progress. And once that goes away, it means that the job has been completed. So what that's doing is that's actually copying the files of the project over, and I'll show you how to actually get those files after this deploys. Actually, let me show you now. Oh, that's done. All right, so now if I go back to this device, click on TracerPlus, you'll see now I also have that Count Quick project automatically loaded to the device. So I didn't have to go in, I didn't have to click download project, I didn't have to scan a QR code. I actually got the application through that deployment job. So we'll just go ahead and close this out. Okay, so now to show you how did I actually get those files to send to the device. So if we go back to desktop and we go back to that deploy screen, so you'll see there's an option here of build only. So I can click build. That's actually just going to build the files that you need to deploy to a device. And those files will actually be located within the project folder. So if I were to open up a folder window here, I'll slide that over. So if I go to where I have that project saved, it's going to be under the deploy folder. That's what gets pushed to the device normally. You go into system info, and then if you look in skins, you're going to grab any image files that you had added to your project, whether that be launcher icons or actually images you included within the sessions itself. You would grab those, as well as any of the TAC files. So you see launcher.tac, and then you see SO1, 2 through 5 TAC. Those are your actual session files. And then you would also grab a few files from system. You would need the deploy TAC, the sessions TAC, and the users TAC. So you would grab all those files and create a job to actually copy those over to the device using that SureMDM. So if we jump back over to that, I'll just show you the job itself. So if we go to jobs, this is where we can manage jobs and create new ones. So if I go to that deploy count quick project and click modify, oh, sorry, that's actually the composite job. So you'll see that this is doing a file copy, a little delay, and then we're moving files to the appropriate location. So that's the composite job that does all three things needed. But if we actually look at the count quick file copy, that's going to show you all those files that I just referenced. So I simply click add. You can drag or open all of the files that you want to copy, and then you just choose where the path that you're copying them to. And that showed up here. So this shows you where I'm copying everything to. And then I created that composite job that allows you to group multiple jobs together for a single deployment. So that did the copy. And then due to some Android security file restrictions, we had to move those files over using a Zebra Stage Now script. So that's nice that 42Gears works very well with Zebra, and they even have a specific section for them. So if we click Android for a new job, when we scroll down, we actually have a Zebra MX config option that we can import. So if you create some scripts or jobs within Stage Now for your devices, you can actually export those via the export for MDM, and then just simply import that XML script right into SureMDM and make it part of a job. So that's really nice how 42Gears works hand in hand with the Zebra hardware. So if we go back to our job screen, I have some other jobs here that I'm going to show you. Let's say you wanted to update TracerPlus to a newer version. So you'll see here, there's two ways you can go about that. You can actually just add a job like I did here. So we have the install TP_10x7. This is going to be for our upcoming release. And if I click modify, this brings you to this, and it shows you it's copying this particular APK to this location. And if we actually look at the look at the modify, you'll see that I actually chose a file, but you could also choose from your own app store. So I'm just going to cancel this. And if we go to the app store, you can actually load any apps that you want to have access to with these devices. So I loaded a bunch of apps here that you can choose from. So when you go to add an install job, you can choose from these apps versus trying to browse to a certain directory to grab a file. So those are the two different ways you can actually install new software or update a version of a software. But if we go back to that and modify, so you'll see if I did choose the use from App Store, you'll see that it only shows those 5 apps that I have in that App Store. But we'll just stick with the file for now. And you can see you have different options here, install after copy, and then you can delete after installation. So if we go back, so if I wanted to apply this to both devices, there's 2 ways you can do that. You can select both and click apply here, or you can right click the folder and click apply. That'll apply it to any devices in that folder. And then I'll just look for that particular install. So that was this one here, click apply. So you'll see that it's going to apply to both devices. It's now in progress. See it finished on the first one and finished on the second one. So now if we go into TracerPlus, we'll see now the version is 10.7, whereas before I showed you it was 10.6. So you'll see how easily I was able to update the version of TracerPlus without having these devices on hand. These devices can be remote anywhere as long as they have network connectivity. And it doesn't require them to be on the same network as desktop as if you were using that QR code deployment. So it's nice as long as they're connected to network, whether it be Wi-Fi or cellular, or even Ethernet, I guess. You can grab these updates. Jump over to the other device, we should see that that one also has been updated. Okay, there you go, 10.7.0.2181. So now let's say you just needed to update, make a simple change to the project. So what you could actually do that same thing. Let's say we go to full inventory and we change this button to red. So if you actually look, let me show the 2 different devices. Since I deployed this project to the TC73 through desktop, I already have the red button, but you'll see that on the other device, I still have that new scan button is blue. So if you just want to deploy a simple change to TracerPlus, you can also do that as well. You wouldn't need a job that has all the files. So in this case, I have this entry skin copy job. You'll see it's just one file. I'm just copying. Since I made the change to session 1, I only need to grab that SO1 entry skin TAC from that deploy folder. So I only added that to copy. And I can go to this specific device, click apply, click the entry skin deploy job. So that's just deploying that one file. Once again, that's a composite job similar to the other one, except we're just copying over one file. All right, job's in progress. Okay, job's complete. Jump back over to this device. And you'll see now this device has the red new scan button. So you'll see this also gives you a way to deploy project updates to your device, not just the full project itself, but simple changes to the project, whether you change, add, remove or add fields, change buttons, colors, anything like that. You can simply create a job in SureMDM to push those changes out to your devices. Once again, not requiring any user interaction. All right, last thing I wanted to show is, let's say I wanted to actually install the Count Quick application. I created a job for that. So we have it's load Count Quick. Once again, that's a composite job just to show you. I'm going to install Count Quick, and then I'm essentially applying a different Sherlock kiosk. So these Sherlock kiosks, you can actually have multiple instances of this where you can apply to different devices so that they have a different looking desktop, let's say, kind of like you can have different desktops in Windows. This can kind of give you a different view of what the user sees on that main screen. So if I jump back to the home, I'm going to apply it to this device. I'll do the load Count Quick. So you'll see that we now have the Count Quick application. So this is another way that you can actually install additional applications, not just TracerPlus. So now we have Count Quick. Now let's say you only wanted to show Count Quick. I could actually come into this kiosk that I use for that. So if I go to the Sherlock kiosk Count Quick, I can either copy this and make modifications to it, or I can modify it itself. I can choose my allowed applications. Let's say I didn't want to show TracerPlus anymore. Click remove so that I just now have Count Quick. Maybe we don't want files either. I can just save that. Go back home. And I can actually apply that kiosk. Oh, I actually applied it to the wrong device. So let me apply it to this one. So see, now that I applied that new kiosk, now I only have options for Count Quick and the Wi-Fi. So that's kind of how you can use these different kiosk jobs to determine what you want to actually show to the end user. And just to show you, if we go into Count Quick, this is our branded Count Quick application. It's powered by TracerPlus. So if I just log in, let's see if I can get it right on the first try. That's what I think it was, the tag character that was putting something in the password. Okay, so there's a Count Quick application, the same project that I just deployed, except that this is a full encompassed individual application powered by TracerPlus. You'll see the about screens, Count Quick. This is built on version 10.6. So we'll just back out of that. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to show. You'll see that SureMDM is a very powerful tool for managing deployment of devices, not just for TracerPlus, but just in general. Even if you wanted to do device OS updates or patches, it works well for that, as well as installing applications, deploying updates, configuring settings. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to show today. So I hope that you see the advantages and benefits of using SureMDM along with TracerPlus and Zebra hardware. So now I'm going to pass this over to Sarsha.
That was really awesome, Joseph. It's always great to see the product in use, and the integration of TracerPlus and Zebra devices. Really awesome. So thanks for that. So moving over to 42 Gears, SureMDM, and a little bit more of what we do. Diving a little deeper into some of the functionality that Joseph had already kind of covered, and what else do we have to offer, right? And so let's start off with who 42 Gears is and what we do. So we're a unified endpoint management solution provider, right? So we're able to secure, monitor, manage all of your business endpoints, and these can mean, from your laptop computers to your smartphones to wearable devices, etc. So any devices that are either out in the field or in your office in a particular location, we're able to manage these devices remotely, and we support a wide variety of operating systems. So this can range from Android, iOS, Mac OS, Windows, Wear OS, so on and so forth. So we are platform agnostic, and we're able to kind of take on and support any platform that's kind of out there. We do offer both a SaaS and on-premise model of our solution. So if one or the other is important to you, we're happy to support it. And we're also support both employee-owned devices and company-owned devices as well. So getting into a little bit of our products, so we did see a little demo that Joseph showed us with the device management solution. I like to think of the SureMDM as the umbrella solution, and everything kind of ties into it. SureLock is our device lockdown, and we can think of that. We can think of it as running at the concept of whitelisting. So we whitelist applications, device settings that we want the end user to have access to, and nothing more than that. So essentially, what we're doing there is we're creating a dedicated purpose device. With only the limited functionality that we want on there. So we cut out a lot of the, let's say your Facebook, your YouTube, a lot of the applications that don't pertain to the business use case. And we also have a secure browser, which is SureFox, and that runs on the same concept. So you can say, hey, I want user A to only be able to access these 3 websites and nothing more than that. And they kind of work together, and you can create these profiles within the MDM and kind of push them out to thousands of devices at once to restrict these devices when they're, let's say, out in the field or being operated in a forklift or so on and so forth. So moving on to our thank you. So these are some of the key verticals that we've seen a lot of success in, but of course it's one of those horizontal products that kind of applies to any given vertical, as long as there are devices out there to be managed. But we do a lot in the logistics space, transportation. You can think of devices mounted in trucks that need to be managed while they're on the road, for example. You can think of warehouses, so like I said, devices up in forklifts or in Zebra devices in the palms of people's hands. They're walking around with it. These are all devices that can be managed out there, right? The education space uses us, healthcare. We have doctors, nurses, even patients a lot of times use devices that are managed by 42 Gears. So it's really applicable to any vertical. And some of these are ones that we have seen recent success in. So moving on to the next one, Joseph. Right, so getting into the unified endpoint management piece, right? So we have the SureMDM, and recently what we've also been focusing on is managing some of these peripheral devices, and these can mean printers, or you can manage like a smart battery, for example, tell you the health of a battery, could tell you when a printer is running low on ink. Of course, your smartphones and tablets, some of your IoT devices, VR headsets, so on and so forth. So we're going beyond just your generic Android smartphone. We're going beyond that and trying to also manage the stuff that ties into these Windows or Android machines. And we can also manage enterprise, apps, the applications on there, the content that these applications have, and also the users of these devices can also be managed from the MDM console. SureMDM comes standard with a mobile threat defense feature to kind of give you that enhanced protection for that device, and then we also have the comprehensive coverage for Android, iOS platforms, things like that. Next one, Joseph, please. So here's some of the key features that I put together. Of course, there are a wide variety of features, but just to give you an idea, these are some of my favorites. Remote support, as Joseph already showed you, is a very, very powerful tool. Let's say you have a device, in another country, and you're trying to access it from your home computer. You're able to do that, make clicks on that device as if it were in your hand, upload different files or folder structures to that device. Or sometimes it's it's as simple as a troubleshooting issue, right? The end user doesn't know what's going on. The IT administrator kind of logs on, clicks on the device, and throws on a setting, and it's good to go again. So what it does, it saves a lot of downtime of let's say shipping that device back to the office for it to be troubleshooted, for example. So it's a very, very powerful tool. Apart from that, another favorite one of mine is fencing options, which is a geo, time, and network fence. So let's take the example of what Joseph was talking about, of throwing some of those profiles onto those devices. Now, where the fencing really kicks in is, think of the fence as a virtual fence around a building, for example, and let's call that the geo fence, right? So we can have the MDM carry out certain commands when the device enters a fence and when the device exits that fence. So let's say we want to throw on that profile when the device enters that fence. We can have the MDM carry that out. Or let's say we use a time fence. We can say, hey, I don't want the device to be touched when a user is using that device. I want that update to be pushed out when there's some downtime. So we're also able to do, kind of that fencing options. And then for the sake of time, we'll move on to the next one. So this is really exciting for us. So SureMDM is, the first EMM service to be validated for Lifeguard OT updates. We, of course, partner very closely with Zebra, and we're, on a wide variety of Zebra devices. So these can be the TC15s all the way to the TC53s. We support Zebra printers, RFID readers, so on and so forth. So if you have a Zebra device you want us to test, make sure we're validated on, most probably we are, but we're happy to also run that test for you. Next one, please. And some of the features, functionalities that we built out specific for Zebra devices. So of course we're able to support their OEM configs, Zebra Stage now. We can update applications and firmware, and this includes the Lifeguard updates. And we can also simplify the peripheral device management. So the smart batteries that I was talking about, we can tell you when a battery is at a particular level, when the health of that battery. Printers, we can tell you when it's going to run out of ink, or when your cartridge, when your print head is coming close to a failure point and needs to be replaced. Things like that. And let's think about that, the use case in the warehouse of a device running around in a forklift. So we created a motion-dependent screen blanking. So what we could do using the accelerometer on the device is we can block out the screen once the forklift crosses, let's say, 2 miles per hour. And that really helps with driver safety. It keeps the driver focused on the task they have on hand versus using their device while they're driving. And we also support the Stage Now configurations, especially for zero-touch migrations and Zebra's OEM config. And a big one, of course, is the over-the-air firmware updates, firmware management. We can push out these updates to, not just one device, but thousands of devices all at once over the air through SureMDM. So, very powerful tool. We're happy to kind of work with you guys to explore more of it or demo the solution to you. Please feel free to reach out to me, and I will also share my contact information after this call. But thank you all very much for reviewing 42 Gears a bit, and we look forward to speaking with you more.
Thanks, Sarsha, and this is Brad again. Well, I guess you know, from our angle, I really appreciate 42 Gears and Zebra hopping on. I think there's a trifecta solution there that's you know, proven. That's my big thing on our side. We want to make sure what we suggest people use works, and we know it does. You know, we've eaten our own dog food with this one, and we use the tool, so we can recommend it to our customers with 100% confidence that it's a great solution. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming around the corner, but with this in mind, you know, if you're interested in 42 Gears, please talk to your 42 Gears sales representative and reseller, and I'm sure they're more than happy to get you the info you need in a demo. I know everything they have is available for demo. Anyway, keep an eye out for everything. We're putting out a lot of emails about this TWA hotel. Can't encourage everybody enough to please join us. I think it's going to be a really amazing event. Last year we did it at the Spiral Building in Manhattan. A lot of great feedback, a lot of great knowledge share. So would love to see everybody there who's using TracerPlus, thinking about TracerPlus and Clearstream using Zebra. You know, we'd really like to get you in front of our team so you can ask the questions that you have and also share your successes or failures. With that being said, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it and hope to talk to everybody soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.